Okay, I'm going to show replacing some Ivory key tops on a piano from 1921. These came off around the time of Katrina. This piano went underwater about 2.5 feet of salt water, so it's kind of been a project. But these are the original Ivories from 101 years ago, and I've cleaned this with just water and a paper towel. And it says on this book here, from Pianos Inside Out by Mario Igric, I pronounced that wrong. Excellent book. You're supposed to put a piece of cloth under here because I guess these are transparent. You want it to be white. So these are already painted white. It looks like what they did years ago. So I've just been putting these on like this with the PVC-E glue, and it seems to work fairly well. And over here, the ones with X's, ones I've already did about 2-3 days ago. So this is my piano, so I just put X's. So I replace this key top, this one. Replace, which means I put the original one back on. This piano is off about 140 cents. So if you put a C here, the piano tuner over here, I've got this set to a B and off about 145 here. So if you just play around here and you say that's a C, it's going to sound kind of funky on your computer because it's down about 1.5 notes. Here's the next octave. So I tuned this kind of to itself because it was off a whole bunch. The bass end is way down. It's got tubby bass. Horrible. Anyways, I'm going to show the glue here real quick. That was just an aside. And I just was... It looks like Elmer's glue, but it's a special glue. It has a different, I guess, a property. It works better for piano stuff. And let me just rack the focus in a little bit. Should be about like that. And I don't know if this is... You're supposed to scrape off the old stuff here, but because there's a depression there, I just left this on. You'll let the purists scream right now. And that'll fit right on there like that. Now this is a player piano, so to get the keys out, you either have to fish them from the side. You need to take this main, I'll show that in a second. There's a whole valve unit. So you can't just fish the keys out unless I take the pins here and make those a little bit smaller. So that's one of them. Looks like I've got all but one of the key tops. And this piano actually, I found these all over the room after Katrina, so I might find another one in a pile of junk. Might have been, I'm missing one. I've had them in this bag forever. That one goes there. Again, the proper way is take all the keys off. And I'm being sloppy as can be. I'm going to take all these keys off, but I've got to take the valve unit apart off the piano. It's got an action called a Amphion Accessible Player Action. This is the last one that fits here. You can see a little jagged. It's kind of like a crossword puzzle. So these are the original Ivories. These are not anything that's, they're banned, but this is the ones that came with the piano. So there's nothing that's been bought. They're banned to be used on pianos, new pianos. It's funny, it just kind of fits in there. You can feel the how it fits into the original depression. It's like the original glue's got like a little crater under there. So I'm going to go through here and mark that I did this one, and I did this one. The other one was right here. And this one, I'm not sure. There's a cap here that goes on the end here. So I'm going to have to probably rig a fixture to push onto here. I got to look around, see if I got this other one. Now in this piano here, if I take up here and look at this, this is the valve unit that you use to go through for the player piano. So these are pneumatically actuated, and to get at those, it's easier just to pull the whole rack out, because the keys here, if you try to fish them out of here, like on here, you can't get that out of here. It's like I need to go through and I'm going to probably put new pins, because these are all rusted. Probably put them so they're just barely sticking up, so I can fish these out in the future. But if you take and you put, this is the old Cyto Tuner 1 from the mid-70s. If you go put this on a C and you hit a C here, see, it doesn't I'll put that to a B, which is lower. If I go one note higher, whoops. This is an A right here. I've got the A's labeled with orange, and this is a C. So this C is actually a note and a half low, so it's like 100 is one note if it's equally spaced. It's 1200 per octave. I'm not going to get into stretch, but if I go through and set this to be A here and go one below, that's a C. I'll go one below. This piano, when it was built, the standard was 435 hertz. If you've got a tuning fork, it wasn't sent for 440. But it's so old and rusted, the bottom under there I'm not sure. I might just pull it off a half a note soft note, but it may not withstand going higher because all the strings down there are all rusted. These old cited tuners here, I don't think they work on them anymore. An old one, a lot of times these get to be kind of iffy to where you have to rattle them, put some contact cleaner in them to get them to actually, let's put this on the 5th. So I've got no mutes on there. They go down here and look down the keys. It's got some. This one particular hits 3 music wires on there, and those are not. You can hear it beating to itself. And what I meant by stretch, if all the strings were infinitely long and they had no mass to them, and it was just a basic string, pure math, each one of these would be exactly 2 to 1, an octave. But in the real world, in here, they're sort of to where you go up 100 cents between them. And when you get down here, they tend to fall down. And then you bring these up. And that's a whole nother subject. You can go nuts about the stretch. It's different for every piano. This piano is what they call, in marketing, called it a concert grand, because it's about 155 inches tall. So it's a real, got long wires on it, but a grand really means not an upright, because a grand you can go through. There's a limit to how fast you can go through and beat the keys, the touch on it, and how fast you can do this way quicker on a grand, because you don't have the way the thing is set up. The whole mechanism is much better on a grand. So this was set up as a player piano. So each one of these rubber tubes, you pull a vacuum on it, and then it hits the mechanism behind here. So you've got a servo on here. Now when you go up to look at the spool here, up on top, you've got a hole here for each one of these that goes through, and when these are uncovered, it'll fire this. So the player piano roll basically is digital in the sense that it has a set of holes here, and then if this hole is opened, it's going to go through and fire like this. And to get this aligned, over here there's a servo mechanism. There's a bellows on here that will move this back and forth to keep this to track on here. Actually moves the entire roll back and forth to keep this aligned. It's like a closed loop system. There's a set of feelers on the edge of the roll up here, and that's from 1921 up on here. This is an atom Schaaf, S-H-A-A-F, or is it Shaaff? Maybe somebody can correct me on there. That's what this is. And this is the air motor over here. That's about it. Just kind of goofing around here. This has been a project. Uprights generally are not worth that much, if anything. This sucker weighs, I want to say, 850 pounds. And the bass is really tubby in the sense that it's got terrible. This has always been like that. And I've been playing this a little bit here just by hand, and there's a lot of junk inside of there. I've vacuumed out probably a gallon of marsh grass and crap out of the bottom. There was some keys that had a buzz to it, and the buzz was from leaves and stuff. I've been vacuuming out. That's probably a cigarette burn on there.